Kapoor and Alia Bhatt, they proposed each other in Masai Mara. If they come to your property, what would you do? Something unique which you usually don't do?
Wherever we are situated, that is very rich in game. Nairobi is the only city where you have the national park within the city.
What are the experiences you recommend for the Indian guests if they were to plan to come Masai Mara? Average length of stay for an Indian guest who comes to your resort?
Average 3 to 4 nights. To leave your blanket, yes, 6 a.m. in the morning, and you go there, then you find this lion or this wild cat that are just killed. You can be able to, see a kill. I prefer the morning game drive.
What is your property? Is it for families? Is it for honeymooners? Hi, my name is Sudhanshu Jaipuria and I'm from Luxury Cloud Podcast. As you know, we love getting unique hotels for you so you can understand what's happening around the world and which are the most amazing and unique properties. I have a very, very special guest today with me, Mr. Peter Olale, who's from Kempinski from Kenya. So thank you so much, Mr. Peter, for coming all the way to India and shooting this podcast with us.
Most welcome. Thank you very much for inviting me as well, and I'm happy to be back in India.
Yeah.
Not the first time, not the 10th time possible. I've been in a couple of times.
Wow.
Thank you.
Amazing. But what brings you to India, again and again? And I know that you love this country, but for our audience, what do you love about Indian market and India?
I find generally India and Asia as a destination very friendly people, very, very authentic in terms of their service. And that gives you the pleasure of obviously, visiting here. In any other part of Asia, I think they are very warm. And when you cut across, and I've had the pleasure of not only visiting here in Delhi, being in Mumbai, being in Calcutta, where you've just come from, and being in other parts of India like Bangalore, Ahmedabad, Hyderabad. So I see this this flowing through in every person that I meet, either for business or just for a drink within India, and something that I always look forward to. So I'm happy to be back, not only for business, but opportunity given, I would obviously also be back here for holiday. I've always told my family that given a choice, at some point we should go to southern of India, where I'm told you have beautiful places like Goa, and I look forward to that.
Wow, I think you've been to many more places than probably I have in Indian country. But you represent two beautiful properties which are in Kenya, and Kenya is perceived to be an exclusive destinations for us. From India, it's on a bucket list that you have to go to Kenya and see the wildlife, because the big five, they're so popular, and it's definitely on the bucket list. So let's start about the two properties that you represent. If you can just tell us the names and where they are.
I'm Peter. I'm representing Villa Rosa Kempinski, which is a Kempinski property right in the heart of Nairobi, in Westlands area. And likewise also representing Olale Mara Kempinski, which we consider as a true gem within the Maasai Mara, within the Olale Motorogi Conservancy. So those two properties have been Kempinski properties over the last 10 or so years. Together with those properties, we are looking at 200 keys in Nairobi. We're looking at 12 luxury tented camps in Maasai Mara, and that's what I'm here to represent. But more importantly, is to showcase those properties to the Indian market and beyond. That we are open for business. As a country, we have a very rich, we have a very interlinked relationship with India. Today, in Kenya, you see a fourth generation of the Indian community. And so when we see the Indians coming through, it is just a continuation of the connection that the two countries have together. And that possibly, makes it easy for any Indian traveler coming to the country to realize that, or to know that they are in an area where already there are more than, more people out there who are staying in the country themselves.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So, of course, people talk about Masai Mara and Nairobi all the time. So what are the experiences you recommend for the Indian guests if they were to plan to come to Masai Mara, for that matter, or even Kempinski is there in Nairobi? So is it that Nairobi is only for people who are transiting or business, or do you also recommend them to stay a little longer for tourist attractions, if there are any in the city?
There's a lot to offer. First, the convenience of getting to Nairobi, thanks to our own national carrier, Kenya Airways, that flies every day from Mumbai into Nairobi. We do know that now India is also flying to Nairobi, which is also just is an indicator of the kind of traffic that is coming through from this destination. Air Indigo is also flying Nairobi, plus many other carriers. The Middle East carriers are flying to Nairobi. More important than Nairobi is not only a pre-night, so when I look at it from holiday perspective, then Nairobi then becomes your pre-night stay before you go into the Mara, or you go into Amboseli, go into Samburu, go into other national parks, or it could be your post-night stay after your safari. But if I may just go back a bit in terms of what Nairobi has got to offer, because Nairobi is not only a place where you transit on your way to Maasai Mara, but again, Nairobi is a place where you can stay. There are many other players in terms of hotels. There are lots of business that are happening in Nairobi. Kenya, the destination, is an agricultural-driven agricultural economy, and tourism is one of the contributors of the GDP of the country. So you see a number of tourists coming in. And when they come into Nairobi not only is a question, as Kenya said, not an occupation about passing by, but then the things that you can see in Nairobi is the only city today, and we are very proud about it, that it's the only city where you have the national park within the city. So if you come into Nairobi and you don't get a chance to go into other parks for whatever reason, because you are transiting or because you are just unlucky to be in Nairobi for a night, then you can sneak out and just go to the park and just do a morning game drive and evening game drive if time allows you. And I can assure you that you'll have covered quite a bit in terms of what you'd have loved to see in the national parks. Other than that, there are other places. There's the National Museum. There is the current Brixton Museum, which has got a lot of history behind it. You have the Giraffe Center, which is not just about 15-16 kilometers away from Nairobi. You have the David Sheldrick Elephant Orphanage. You see the elephants that have been rescued from different parts of the country that are either going through treatment or for whatever reason, either the mother was killed or during poaching or whatever it is, which is not quite common. But then for whatever reason, either the mother was killed, so they're brought up in Nairobi, and they're taken care of, and those that are either ailing also given treatments, by a very specialized team, and thereafter when they're ready, then they're taken back to the wild. So those are things that someone could be able to see in Nairobi. But generally, even when you stay in Nairobi, nightlife it's something. So nightlife, if you're a party animal, I can tell you for a fact that Nairobi has got a lot to offer, in terms of nightlife, and I would invite those that have time within the night to be able to visit other places in Nairobi.
You party the whole night, then go for early morning safari.
You party the whole night, go morning safari, and then you got an early morning game drive in Nairobi National Park. But you can also visit other markets that are selling the art and crafts, the beads, the handcrafted stuff that you can be able to buy and take away as souvenir back to your people at home. So that is what Nairobi is. It's a city of about 6 million people, very lovely people, very warm, and generally that's what makes Nairobi a place that you want to visit and a place that you would feel comfortable to spend a day or two before you proceed into the Maasai Mara. Beyond that, then of course you have other parks to visit. So Kenya is known for Maasai Mara.
Yeah.
And rightfully so, because it's the seventh one on the world, because of the migration that is happening every peak season, July, August, September.
What are the best seasons actually to come to Mara? Because still people are confused sometimes, so they don't know what's the concept of migration, and just to give a little lowdown on the country, because it's amazing. People heard their names, but what is the core reason for migration? I mean, why people come there to see migration?
So the first question is Kenya an all-year-round destination? Yes, Kenya is an all-year-round destination. And coming in January is no any less than coming in April. The only difference why there are a bigger number that are coming in, I want to believe that it's because the summer holidays in most of the destinations around the world, where either people are on summer breaks, obviously they have more time to spend outside their country. But why this side of July, August and September, and partly October? Because of the migration that takes place from Tanzania into Kenya. These are the wildest migration. And why this particular period? It's been raining in Kenya over the last 3 months, April, May, June. So they're coming into an area where it's this fertile, full of vegetation. There's a lot to eat. There's a lot of water to drink, and that movement into the Maasai Mara National Park is what generally, it's quite spectacular, and that's what brings, millions of people from all walks of life to be able to come and see. But that is not to say that that is the only period someone can visit Masai Mara. The other, other months, as I said, that you can visit Masai Mara, and you'd not regret visiting Masai Mara in March or in May or in July. The only thing that when you do visit a certain period like April, May, and June, there's a bit of rain, and even that is an adventure in itself, that you get stuck here and there, but you have something, you have a story to take back home with you. Not to say that you cannot visit Masai Mara in any season. So we consider our country and Masai Mara and other parks generally an all year round destination. So we don't really narrow down that this is the only time you can visit the country. But of course, July to September is the period of migration, and that's really what brings the big numbers into the country.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So, but tell me about now your property. It's I think opened in 2013.
Yes.
It is in 12 years, and there is a lot of competition. So, how do you position your property versus the others, and for what kind of people is your property? Is it for families? Is it for honeymooners? Or just to your perspective, who would you consider the right clientele for your property?
So we've been open since 2013, just about 10 years old as a property. Olale Mara Kempinski is built within the Olale Motorogi Conservancy. And this is a 33,000 acre conservancy that is land leased out of the community. And there are 5 camps within this particular area. We are unfenced camp with 12 luxury tents, 11 deluxe tents, 1 honeymoon tent. Where there's a bar, there's a lounge, there's a dining area, there's an outdoor pool. The honeymoon suite comes with a plunge pool that is built right next to it. That gives obviously a different experience.
Come towards the pool as well.
No, they don't. They don't. Gives a different experience to the honeymooners that are staying in there. And what we, as you rightfully put it, just we have other camps that are within the conservancy, and these are 4 other camps, so plus Olale Mara Kempinski. Those makes it 5 camps within the conservancy. Within the conservancy, obviously, the conservancy is managed by the Olale Motorogi Conservancy Management Company. And this exclusivity, does offer a lot more to our guests. One, the knowing that you are within an area where it's properly managed in terms of the sustainability issues that are also looked after by the rest of the camps. And we collectively have got initiatives that are there to ensure that we preserve the ecosystem that exists within our camps. We work very closely with the local community in terms of just supporting them, because they are part and parcel of why we exist. So the Maasai community that live around the Olale Motorogi Conservancy or within the outskirts, people that we coexist with quite well. Above all that, we do offer the children who have gone to school an opportunity to work within the camps, and that is not only exclusive to Olale Mara Kempinski, but also to our other players that are within the camp. But coming back to our camp in particular, what makes our camp unique? You rightfully put that we have got a number of camps that are in there. One of the things that we pride ourselves about at Olale Mara Kempinski, one is the location. Wherever we are situated, we're in an area that is very rich in game. So remember, the camp is unfenced, and therefore when you drive outside the camp, and I kid you not, 5-10 minutes into your game drive, you'll possibly see a pack of lion, a pride of lion, just lying somewhere along the driveway. And that is spectacular. Unlike in other places where you possibly will drive an hour, 45 minutes, and the guides have to be in communication with the other guides somewhere else to tell them this is where the animals are, please drive here.
The best thing for a client coming to Mara is that instantly when you go and see sighting,
Yes. And that's a sighting is key, and that's why we pride ourselves for where we are located, that we know that for sure when you go on a game drive, when you leave the camp, we know that you will come and tell us, look, I've seen A, B, C, D. You'll not be disappointed. For the 2 nights, 3 nights you're going to be at the camp, you'll not be disappointed. And that possibly tells it all when people choose to stay in our camp minimum of 3 nights. A 3-night stay.
That was going to be my next question. So usually 3 nights is what the average length of stay should be, right? Because you may not see sighting as you want. So it's always better to have more number of nights.
I can guarantee you, even one night you'll see the sighting. But I think beyond the sighting, just the nature of,
The experience,
Yes.
the whole feel of jungle, and just imbibe that for the next 2-3 days.
Exactly. So that is why when you find that people are staying, I mean, look, we have people who stay for more than 5-6 nights, but then the average length of stay in our camp is 3 nights. Not to say that,
The average length of stay for an Indian guest who comes to your resort usually.
average 3 to 4 nights. 3 to 4 nights, and I'll tell you what, because then the